Hello and welcome to my first video on the Starfarer Gemini. I decided I wanted to make a Star Citizen video for all those guys out there that I know personally who I constantly advertise this game to. I'm always telling people what a tremendous feat this game and the procedural world that they built is, and this accomplishment isn't just for CIG either, Cloud Imperium Games.
Now arriving.
It's also a feat and an accomplishment that is going to it's going to help other game makers out there build better and bigger worlds. Personally, I think Rockstar with Red Dead Redemption 2 made an incredible, really awesome, detailed world, but it took a lot of effort, many years of effort, and it was really difficult for them to, I should say it was expensive for them to make, all of the terrain and have the artists paint the landscape, even though they were using things like photogrammetry and things like, technologies that are pretty high on the forefront of gaming and texture and tessellation and all of that. So I decided I was going to, during the expo, since we have access to all these great ships, I decided to go and get one of the bigger ships being offered right now. And I have to hesitate in saying bigger because even though this ship to me is quite large, this ship is only on the medium scale of ships. It's called the Gemini Starfarer, and you probably got that straight out of the title from this video. I think that this ship is very unique in the sense that the industry in-game lore that makes it MISC or MISC, they built a utilitarian ship that they added some sort of weaponry components to, and that was the other Starfarer ship, the not Gemini model. I'm not actually familiar with what the other model is, but the Gemini model is essentially the combat variant, and you'll see as I'm approaching it right now in this large hangar bay. This bay is intended to house those very large ships, and you can see it looks minuscule, the ship I'm approaching right now, on this pad, and this pad is supposed to be able to house ships like the Kraken, a ship that is essentially a flying fortress, and or in better terms, it's a flying aircraft carrier. So you saw I ran up to the door there. If you haven't played Star Citizen before, this game has a lot of interactive little menus that you have to get into, holding the F key to get there. And right now the ship is really dark. In fact, I've entered this ship before this video, and it was even darker. I think right now this is actually residual because I've been in this same ship before. But I had pulled a ship out, I got in, it was even darker than this. And what the reason for that is because if you don't actually power the ship's generator on, the engine, you won't actually have power, and that means that the lights won't even be on, which I think is just great. Right here you see the escape pods. That back area back there was the loading bay. Something you can't do right now is fly the ship from the captain's seat. You shouldn't be able to anyway, because you have to enter the pilot seat to do so. The left seat is the main pilot, the right seat's the co-pilot. There's a couple of engineering stations in the back. And that's not all the stations on this ship. So flight ready, what you just saw me select there was me selecting the ship ability to power up both the engines and the generator. Otherwise, I would just have to hit 2 buttons instead of straight to flight ready. You'll see on the top left there, my shields are starting to power up. They're going from red to eventually blue, and then they'll eventually surround the whole ship. I just entered the comm menu and requested takeoff. Right now, they're opening the bay doors for me. And just another, look from the outside. This is a pretty large ship. You see those missile bays right there on the bottom of the face of the craft. Not the greatest takeoff. I went into this mode haphazardly and didn't correctly balance the ship before I went into the outside view, so had to reorient. And this is full thrust upwards with the VTOL thrusters on the bottom of the ship. And I just closed my landing gear. And you can see this ship is so heavy, and it's really great to me how they've made these ships with just an incredible amount of mass. And it would be really, if I continued to fly straight up like that, it would be really difficult for me to, well, maybe not difficult. It would take a long time for me to reach space without, speeding up the actual video. Which I'll do here in a few minutes, because it does end up taking me quite a bit of time to just escape the atmosphere. So you saw that red glow that showed up over the city. That's sort of a barrier right now. CIG is getting rid of that in the future. They're going to make it so that you can look at the ground and take off and land wherever you want, which is amazing. That's one of the things that Chris Roberts, CEO of CIG, has said recently at the most recent expo. Those big canisters on the back of this ship are all fuel canisters, which is a big commodity in this game. This ship is intended to be a really fast quantum travel ship, which means the faster than light travel that you perform is faster than others. So right now I'm going to spin around and I'm going to try to get up as high as I can, as fast as I can. I love the effects, the particle effects from the thrusters, the light from the city. You'll see the frames sort of catch and bounce around a lot. I don't have the greatest computer, and I'm running this off of a solid state drive and 32 gigs of RAM with a 1060 GTX NVIDIA card. Essentially, that means I'm at the medium end of computers, but I'm not able to really, get this game in perfect condition. Problem is there's I/O flows, in-out flows on the motherboard that it makes it really difficult for this game to process quickly. Without a upgrade, you'll continue to see me have these frame catches, and this is actually pretty common for most people who play this game. You'll see a lot of this sort of like, because it is, and if you're looking around right now, it is really beautiful. You see that the sky map out there is it's for the entire solar system. That's not just the sky map for this planet. I'm actually flying out of a planet's atmosphere and gravitational well, and you'll see right now I'm about to pass by another Gemini. I don't know who's flying that Gemini, but it was probably just another player looking to try it out. I think this, because the ship is pretty expensive, upward in the range of $200 to $400 if you wanted to spend real money to have the bits for this ship right now. That's around the price. So I just locked on to him to see what that guy was flying, because I didn't actually get a glimpse of it. And you see right there in the top right, it says a Starfarer Gemini. So they're going to probably head back to Area 18, the landing zone I just left from, and I imagine they're going to land. I wanted to turn around and see them real quick, and I do try to do that, but so from right here I decided I was going to jump to a place I know where there is a space station, because I would like to see what space stations they have right now. And I also thought it was a really great place for me to sort of park the ship, just because when you're near a planet like I am right now, if I got out of the pilot seat, the ship would hold itself by autopilot in one space. It would stop and it would park, basically, and you could walk to the back of the ship or the bottom of the ship, and you'd see the thrusters firing just constantly, but it's just to keep you in one spot. So I'm skipping ahead right now. This is me leaving the atmosphere in this ship, because this ship is so heavy. It takes a really long time to get out of atmosphere. I think I actually ended up exiting atmosphere a while before I ended up QTing, jumping to the area. I wanted to show just, so that's the speed on the left that keeps accelerating. At the top left was the altitude. I'm pretty sure I'm out of the atmosphere at this point, but I just kept going to make sure. And then here I begin my quantum travel spooling. So quantum travel drives are attached to most ships. This one has a very large quantum travel drive. It calibrates where, what the jump vector is, and then it is powering up the drive. That's what that top percentage is. Once it hits 100%, I will activate it. It will orient me to the correct position for getting to my destination, and then I'm going to enter quantum travel. You'll see another frame freeze right here, because this is very interesting about this game. I have actually just changed my frame of reference, and the planet you saw disappear me behind right there, that little dot back there, if I was in this external view the whole time, you'd actually see the planet quickly fly away, and that dot, before it was a dot, just shrink very quickly away from me. This is actual physical travel in the 3D space of this solar system, which is very interesting to me. Just another really incredible thing that they've done. I've traveled now hundreds of thousands of kilometers very quickly, and here I am now at the one of the closest asteroid clusters, which should I say this, which you'll find out here in a minute, should have a space station in it called a R&R station, where I can rest and relax, or essentially just park my ship and do missions and things like that. I noticed that as I came out of quantum travel, if you look to the right, that little weird square with the up arrow on the bottom of it, it's actually my direction of travel. And so I came out of quantum travel. It's the thing about this game. I had a inertia as I went into quantum travel. Quantum travel actually carries that inertia that you left with into the next where you exit at. And so my inertia was actually heading in that direction, and so I had to stop the ship real quick and get back on course towards the asteroid field. I thought it was pretty interesting that quantum travel, like I was saying, it's a quick, it's a very fast speed, but you are physicalized, and so you're not in a loading screen at all. I could accidentally fly into something in quantum travel. There is a limit to the kind of things that you can hit, but you can't go through a planet. If you hit a planet, you die. I've tested this in the past, where I was able to trick the game into letting me quantum travel. Usually it doesn't let you. I was able to trick it into letting me quantum travel at one of the largest planets in this solar system, called Stanton. I'm sorry. No, it's near Port Olisar. It's a large gas giant planet, and so I hit the planet, my ship was immediately destroyed, and it dropped me out of quantum travel as I hit the planet. So, like I was saying, you are physically part of the solar system still. At least it's tracked, and the collisions are still tracked. So, I'm probably going to speed up here in a minute again. This takes quite a while for me to actually reach the asteroid field, even though I'm traveling at the ship's relative capacity. I put in the chat window there, this is like flying a train, because it is. Like, if I continue to accelerate, which I can, it's going to be really, really hard for me to stop, but it's also going to take a long time for me to get to like my very max speed, which is only nearly 1,000 meters per second. So I started increasing speed again. Now I'm going nearly 300. than just over that meters per second. That's what that left number underneath the, or above the red bar is. And I started to come in and I noticed something that was kind of interesting. As I was flying in here, I noticed a piece of what looked like a space station. And this is a first for me. I have not seen a piece of what may have once been a space station before, aside from a space station that had been sort of decommissioned many cycles before I had actually got into this game. So yeah, I see them here as I was zooming in, and I'm going, what is that? Is that our broken space station? Has this been here before? And am I just not been to this asteroid cluster? Well, we're gonna head over there and we're gonna see what this is all about, because this is kind of interesting to find not what I was looking for, which was hopefully an RR station, so that we could get a glimpse of what the ship's relative size is and how the space station looks. They've added a lot of really great features in this game recently, in 3.7, which is the alpha iteration that we're on right now. And interesting enough, they added a whole new space station tech with big atriums and all these beautiful parts, these bespoke parts sort of jutting off of the space stations that make them look really genuine and purposeful. So one thing that I heard, and this is just a rumor that kind of floated around the internet recently, was that they're decommissioning the space stations again, more than just the one that they did, and they're saying like, ooh, a pirate came in and destroyed the space station, or there was some kind of catastrophe and the space station was destroyed, but obviously the result is right in front of us right now. If I am accurate, and this is new, there's part of a destroyed space station. In fact, I can remember this space station used to be, it was a big ring with a center area, which was the actual landing area, but the ring, circled all the way around this large central structure. And so I fly in here, and another interesting thing happens while I'm here, and it's kind of odd, and I feel like it's sort of starting to tell a story. I start to fly into this, wrecked structure. What's going on here? Was there an attack? Did an asteroid just destroy the station and they forgot to power their shields on or something? And then I get this, and this guy I think is interesting. Suddenly a raider, an actual enemy, begins to attack me, and if you didn't see it, he did fire first. I'm not Han Solo right now. I was too far away from him to hit him for quite a bit, and so I sped things up, because the ship, again, is very slow, so I sped it up so I could get close to him, and I started getting, it was like 3 hits from my main cannons there, and just obliterated the ship. I stopped for a second, and I did a quick scan to see if he had dropped any cargo, or if there was anything of interest, aside from that, now, the parts of that vessel that was there. I didn't see anything, so I decided I was just going to turn around, head back to the station, and sort of poke about. Just wanted to find out what was actually going on. So I passed by that other destroyed piece, because I wanted to get to the bigger one, the one that looked like it had more interesting qualities. I also noticed that when I got back to it, there was some, it looked like little buoys, just space buoys, some beacons that were sitting around it. Maybe they're acting as caution signs to keep you from, getting too close, or maybe they're monitoring the area for more people who might feel like they can come in and salvage the ship. When I play this game, I really like the first-person aspect of it. I love that you're piloting a ship. I love that you're a first-person, shooting weapons. I love that you drive in first person. All of that is something that I've always loved about video games, and so I really do love flying in first person. I went to that third person view so I could kind of, you know, better show the audience here what I was doing, and then, ooh, yeah, I hate watching that. Just because I started to increase thrusts upwards while also flying forwards, and I don't have the scale of this ship down yet. I've only flown it twice, and so I nicked the top of the ship on part of the structure there. So I park here. I decide, okay, this looks like a good place to get out and start poking around. So checking out the window, just want to see all of the little pieces just to show you, you know, that they really did give this game a good amount of love. And I accidentally walked too close to the ladder. I got stuck on it. This ship is definitely not complete. They've got a lot to do with this ship still, I think, that are going to sort of upgrade some of the parts, this button, for instance, and how the catwalk that you see above me right there works. So as I walked out, immediately went into anti-gravity, or I should say, went into a no-gravity space, because the gravity field that I just walked out of is no longer affecting me. So I decided to fly up, check around. There really wasn't much to see out here, so I'm speeding this up just to kind of show you that, you know, I did spend some time. I tried to get inside the structure. I couldn't get inside because there's sort of a boundary there. I decided I was going to pull out my mining tool and mess around with it, and didn't really get any contact with the metal. Just another really great view of the Gemini Starfarer. Just a beautiful ship. You see that air intake on the top for the thrusters, which are all based on, you know, the really common technology now, which is just you know, fusion. Even though fusion's not been perfected as an actual power source right now, air-breathing fusion is a real thing. So anyway, I skipped past the part where I tried to get onto the catwalk a couple times, closed back up the cargo bay, and I begin to head upstairs towards the bridge of the ship again. So right here, I'm going to start winding down. The purpose of this video, again, was just to show off the beauty of this ship, even though I don't explore the interior very much, which this ship has all these maintenance access ways and these turrets and all these beautiful, like, little renderings of the ships at model and that scale and all of this. All the details embedded in the power stations and just the stairs with mind your step at the top of the stairs, the little caution yellow stripes, the fact that the lights don't always, or not that they don't always activate, but the lights in certain areas are activated by a separate switch. I tried to get into the turret up here. This is the top turret. I couldn't do it because I was standing too close to the chair. I found out later that if I actually walk up to the chair and stand outside that door, I would be okay. This concludes my video. I appreciate you guys for watching. Have a great day, and leave me a like if you want to.